our simulators, but he may be too busy today. I'm Charlotte Warren, the president at Lincoln Land Community College, and with me today are several of our Board of Trustee members, Vice Chair Gordon Gates, right there, Trustees Vicki Davis, Dr. Vicki Davis, and Jeff Fulgenzi. So thank you for joining us. We're honored today to welcome Governor JB Pritzker to our Crayer Agricultural Center and its state-of-the-art simulation lab, where we're educating the next generation of professionals in the agricultural industry. So far this year, our college has awarded more than $2.5 million in MAP grants to our students, an increase of more than $1.3 million over the previous year. When students receive MAP funding to help cover their college costs, they can spend more time focusing on their studies and less time working to pay their bills. This leads to increased degree and certificate completion and less worry about student debt. You'll hear more today about the impact of MAP from one of our students, Keziah Craig. Our recent state funding is helping Lincoln Land provide free classes and training to increase the pipeline of healthcare, early childhood, and highway construction workers, and remodel our student service areas to be more welcoming and easier for students to navigate. This summer, we're offering three free programs to help new students bridge into college career training, including a free class of their choosing. In addition, our Workforce Equity Initiative is expanding to access to career training for many marginalized students. The program has achieved a 70% completion rate and a 75% employment rate, which means in the last 3 years, 250 students have been placed into local jobs from this program. This number will grow as students complete their training programs this spring. Thank you, Governor Pritzker, for your continued commitment to and support of the community college and our students. It is making a great difference. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Well, thank you very much to President Warren for your kind introduction, of course, for hosting us here today at Lincoln Land Community College. Your leadership has just been outstanding here, and I met a number of the trustees here who helped to keep this place going and growing, and we are your partners in that endeavor. To Senator Doris Turner and Representative Mike Coffey, thank you for your partnership in lifting up the educational opportunities and job opportunities for working families in Central Illinois. I'm very pleased today that we're going to be able to introduce Keziah Craig. Keziah is a student here at Lincoln Land College, and Lieutenant Governor Stratton and I really are thrilled that you're here with us today, and I know that we're all looking forward to hearing your remarks and your experience here at Lincoln Land. Illinois is poised to make history. With the passage of the budget proposal that I put forward, we're making it possible for every working class student and resident to get a degree from Lincoln Land, tuition-free and fee-free. And the same goes for people all across the state of Illinois. With an additional $100 million directed to the MAP grant program, a student can pair our state support now with a federal Pell Grant and pay for college with no student loans. Illinois has the third largest community college system in the entire nation. We're home to 48 community colleges, and each opens doors to higher wages and new careers, better jobs in healthcare and IT, in agriculture and construction management, accounting, manufacturing, and more. When I first took office, people were choosing to leave Illinois to get a college education because they just couldn't afford to get one here. Prior administrations had cut funding for higher ed, so much so that out-of-state tuition elsewhere was more attractive. Or people just decided not to get a degree at all because they couldn't afford it. That was a fundamental failure of state government. And working with the General Assembly, we're making it possible now for everyone to get ahead by attending community college or a university here in Illinois. We're able to make these investments in Illinois students and families because we've been laser focused on righting Illinois' fiscal ship by balancing the state budget and running surpluses, by paying off our state's overdue bills, reducing our long-term pension liability, and eliminating all of the state's short-term debts. Just yesterday, we received our 8th credit upgrade since I took office, a seminal milestone following the previous administration's 8 credit downgrades. And that means we're saving tens of millions of dollars of taxpayers' money. And it means that we can finally make investments that we should have been making and that will make a difference in people's lives. For example, this year, every single student eligible for a MAP grant received one. Every single student. Remember what happened before. We had a certain amount of money available for MAP, people would apply, and when the money would run out, everybody else was left high and dry. So, now we are seeing that 1 in 3 Lincoln Land students is able to get a MAP grant and receives it when they apply for it. And as the president said, $2.5 million this year already has gone to helping students right here in this community acquire new skills and new degrees and new opportunity. As we make college more affordable for students, we also need to invest in modernizing community college campuses, updating curriculum and resources, and ensuring that these amazing local economic engines are running at their best. Our Rebuild Illinois capital plan, the largest in state history, dedicates nearly $500 million to community college infrastructure across our state. This includes over $3.7 million to renovate Menard Hall here at Lincoln Land, as well as additional funding to repair and renew facilities after decades of state disinvestment. We've also increased funding for day-to-day operations at community colleges by over $25 million since I came into office, and my FY24 budget proposal would add another $19 million annually. That's the largest increase for community colleges in over 2 decades. A stronger baseline also means that we can get more creative about making more workforce development programs available for more people. My budget proposal also includes $8.3 million to expand dual credit and non-credit workforce development programs, options that transform outcomes for low-income high school students and support retention and skills training for employers. Commitments like these have helped Lincoln Land stabilize tuition for next year. Thank you very much. I know that you voted to keep tuition stable, 0% increase. That tremendously helps people who want to go to college and are thinking about the challenges that are ahead. So I want to express my gratitude to the trustees here. Your leadership really has always worked to make college affordable here, giving Springfield residents more flexibility than ever before in their career choices. Illinois' community colleges serve as an accelerator for local economies and individual students alike. From a direct economic impact of about $3.5 billion annually to producing degrees that offer an average annual return on investment for taxpayers of over 25%. Community college is one of the best assets that we have when it comes to ensuring great opportunity and great outcomes for our working families. And it's an investment that I honestly am very, very proud to make each year. Working with the members of the General Assembly, we're making a difference in people's lives by making these investments, and we're now in a position to continue to upkeep and build our community colleges, which is changing the face of and the trajectory of our economy in a very substantial way. So I want to thank you, and with that, I'm very pleased to introduce my partner in governance, the best lieutenant governor in the entire country, and that's our Lieutenant Governor, Juliana Stratton.
Good morning, everyone. I am Lieutenant Governor Juliana Stratton. I use she, her pronouns, and it is a beautiful day at Lincoln Land Community College. Thank you to the best governor in the entire country, Governor JB Pritzker, for that warm introduction and for your unwavering leadership to make Illinois the best state to pursue an education. To our partners in the General Assembly, Senator Doris Turner and Representatives Mike Coffey and Katie Stewart, thank you all for standing with us and doing the hard work to ensure the next generation have the pathways to a brighter future. I also join the governor in thanking President Dr. Charlotte Warren and all the passionate, dedicated educators, leadership, and trustees of Lincoln Land Community College. You know, I've seen firsthand the incredible impact that you make on students' lives every day. You see, my mother was an educator at a community college, and community colleges will always hold a special place in my heart. Illinois is proud to support you because we know that you open doors for so many to soar. And it's up to us to ensure every aspiring student can benefit from your impact, that they know that the door is open for them too. And that includes BIPOC students and students in our rural regions who are too often locked out of pursuing their education because of financial barriers. And our educational institutions, like Lincoln Land Community College, deserve to have every tool at their disposal to inspire talent by having access to innovation and the capacity to dig into bold ideas. We want to help you go further because we know that you're already utilizing methods ahead of the curve. The land lab that we are in right now is a testament to that. We know that, as I always say, ag connects us all. And every community deserves to be able to access the pathways to a career in this industry, our state's #1 industry, and benefit from the bounty Illinois produces, particularly people from backgrounds that are underrepresented in the agriculture professions. Obtaining an education not only changes the trajectory of a student's life, but also their families and their communities. And let me take that even further. When a student can complete college, when they have a degree that provides them economic opportunities that may have never been available to their parents or grandparents, when someone can go back to school to finish a degree that they've always dreamt of receiving, and when a student is in a classroom and has that aha moment and thinks, you know what, I can make a career out of this, I can provide for my family with this, I can help change the world with the skills and knowledge I'm gaining, then that changes all of our futures. It means our entire state is stronger because we're supporting the future generations who will come to the table well equipped to drive our economy to the next level and take on the challenges of tomorrow. It means students from historically disinvested communities that have been deprived of resources can be built up to reach back to take their communities with them as they reach higher. When we invest in equitable, affordable, and accessible education for all, then everyone thrives. And our administration's historic nearly $2.5 billion investments in higher education is paving the way for every Illinois student. And this includes supporting community colleges in developing the workforce readiness programs that set students up for success. Because we know educators are at the center of building up our state's future, we're investing in scholarships for teachers from underrepresented backgrounds so students can be taught by people who look like them and understand their perspectives. And we're building on our commitment to affordable education so nearly all community college students can have their tuition and fees covered by MAP and Pell Grants. To show just how vital this funding for MAP grants is, it's my pleasure to introduce our next speaker, Keziah Gregg. Keziah is a student here at Lincoln Land Community College, a MAP and Pell Grant recipient, and someone who is taking the initiative to learn how they will be making their mark on the future of our agriculture industry. Keziah, I'm going to pass it over to you.
Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Keziah Gregg. I'm a student here at Lincoln Land Community College, pursuing an Associate's in Arts degree with an emphasis in agriculture, and I'm very excited to tell you I'll be graduating this summer. A little bit about me. I'm an equestrian, and I started riding horses when I was 11 years old, which I think greatly contributed to my love and now pursuit of a degree in agriculture. In 2020, my father passed away, who was a veteran, passed away due to chronic illness. The loss of my father not only took an emotional toll on my family, it created a huge financial gap. Instead of 2 parental incomes, I was left with 1 to fund my education. For those of you who may not know, the Illinois MAP Grant is a state-funded financial aid program that assists eligible students pursuing their higher education here in Illinois. As a recipient of this grant, I can personally attest to the impact it has had on my education and funding my education. Instead of leaving school with student loans, I'll be graduating from Lincoln Land Community College debt-free. That is an opportunity that most do not get to claim. I can now move on to complete my last 2 years at the university level, earning a bachelor's degree in animal science. My goal with that degree is to manage production animals, but really my options are endless. With Illinois MAP Grant and other resources such as the Lincoln Land Community College Foundation Scholarship and the federal Pell Grant, every semester was paid in full. So much stress and concern were taken off my shoulders and my mother's. I am also a student worker here at LOCC's Public Relations and Marketing Office, not to pay for college, but to pay for my extreme love of coffee. I'm completely kidding, to encourage prospective students to attend Lincoln Land and the benefit and offers that we have, great benefits we have here at Lincoln Land. I am so grateful for this opportunity and this program and hope that it continues to help other students in the years to come, just like me. Thank you. I would like to introduce Senator Turner next.
Thank you. Good morning. Long before I ever dreamed of being an elected official, I began my community service volunteering at my kids' schools, and my love of public education and that advocacy continues until today, because I really believe that education is the foundation on which we build community. And with Governor Pritzker's proposed budget, which includes the largest increase for community college in over 2 decades, places like Lincoln Land Community College are building strong communities throughout our state. And this is something that will pay dividends generationally. And I do want to thank you, Governor Pritzker, for your dedication to education, as shown not only through your budgets, but through other actions that you have taken over the course of your tenure. These historic investments give all students the opportunity and access to education and training that they need to build a career. Community colleges can be a much-needed step for students before attending a 4-year university or starting or rebuilding a career. Illinois is home to a large number of phenomenal community colleges, and I think I heard this morning that Illinois has the 3rd largest community college system in the entire country. So that speaks volumes to what we have here in Illinois and our ability to build on that. And we have 2 phenomenal community colleges right here in the 48th, Lincoln Land being one of them and Richland Community College being the other one over in Decatur. And I think that we cannot underestimate the value that these community colleges provide, because they're often a foundation for the first 2 years of students before they go on to a 4-year university. But they also are an oasis for people that want to start a new career, want to do a career change, or find themselves in a situation in their life where their life is upended. And community college is a foundation or a place where they can land to learn a union trade or a certification track leading to a career in any number of professions. And right here in this facility, in this new agriculture building, students will change the trajectory of agriculture for not only this state, but for the entire country. So we cannot underestimate what we have here at Lincoln Land Community College. Increasing investments in Illinois' community colleges is vital for students to engage in more workforce training and development programs, allowing them to get a good paying job in the future and build not only their life, but also their lives of the generations that will definitely come behind them. So this funding that we're talking about here today is phenomenal, and I do want to impress upon everyone how fundamental it is for the success of our students and what that means for our entire state. So thank you again for everything that you all are doing here at Lincoln Land, and for Governor Pritzker for providing the funding to make it all happen. And with that, I would bring up my colleague in the General Assembly, Representative Coffey.
Thank you very much. I'm very excited to be here at Lincoln Land Community College. I started off here at Lincoln Land taking college classes before I went on to the U of I. My wife took classes. My son Allison took classes here at Lincoln Land. My son Frank took classes, and then my youngest is enrolled this summer to take classes at Lincoln Land as well. So it's been an incredible asset to my family, getting us prepared to go off to college, making the workload a little bit easier as I moved on and as my children moved on. But I think of how important it is on so many levels. Last night, I've got two young women that work for me, Rachel and Kiera. Rachel has been going to Lincoln Land. She works full-time. She's a single mother. She works full-time, takes care of her kid, and she's been going to Lincoln Land. And in the next month, she'll be starting her own daycare. So she'll be leaving me to start her own business. Kiera is another example that MAP has helped, Lincoln Land has helped, because she's going on to be a nurse, and so she'll be leaving me. So these programs are so vital. Community colleges are so important to make people's lives better, make them so that if they don't have a lot of money, they can stay at home, they can save money, they can go on to college and make their lives and the lives of their families much, much better. So I'm very proud to be here, proud of Lincoln Land, proud of the money spent. A dollar spent on higher education is a dollar well spent. This is not a Republican or a Democratic issue. Higher education helps everybody and all of our families. So thank you very much. And Governor, I'll let you take it away.
Thank you. Representative Katie Stewart.
Thank you. I think I threw a little bit of a wrench because I was delayed at a higher education committee hearing over at the Capitol and was finally able to make it here. So I want to thank you for inviting me here to join you today. I'm Katie Stewart. I'm the representative serving the 112th House District in the Illinois General Assembly, which is located down in the Metro East, and so you may be wondering why I'm here, but it's because of my role on the Higher Education Committee. And I don't know that everyone knows, I also am a former teacher. I've taught mathematics at all levels from middle school up through the university. I've taught at local community colleges as well, too. So I don't think you're going to find a bigger advocate for higher education in the General Assembly. And I wanted to make a few remarks today. Education really is the cornerstone of every advanced society. It's really the foundation of a prosperous economy. Many states, Illinois included, are dealing with a problem that we call the brain drain. Lots of our talented students are leaving our state for college, and unfortunately, many of them choose then not to return to our state. We have some of the best public universities and community colleges in the country, so there's really no need for us to accept that as our status quo. We can change that dynamic. We need to empower our best talent, regardless of their socioeconomic background or any degree of privilege, to study and remain right here in the state of Illinois. That's going to let us maintain our edge over other states, boost our economy, energize our communities, and energize our industries. I'm going to change gears just a little bit, and it's an absolute pleasure to work with an administration that cares about higher education as much as I do. So thank you for your always continued investment in higher education, and specifically MAP grants and everything else that makes this attainable. There's been a lot of talk about students that go on after, and I just want to draw attention to another program that's called Aim High, which has been allowing us to extend that same availability to students as they go into their four-year program. It's been transformational for our four-year colleges and universities and supporting recruitment and retention of the brightest and talented that we have right here in the state of Illinois. So it's very important that we continue to fund MAP grants. It's important that we continue to fund Aim High and all those other programs, the teacher scholarships and other things that have been talked about today. Make sure that it's fully implemented, fully funded. We need to promote education at every level. It's critical to the success of our economy. I'm so glad to have the support of this governor and my colleagues in the General Assembly as we continue to prepare our upcoming generations of Illinoisans for success. Thank you.
Happy to take any questions from members of the media. Yes, Jerry.
Update his questions, or are you considering how to spend that now, or what's going on with that?
As you know, let me start with just pointing out that we've been, I think, on point and even conservative about our revenue estimates every year that I've been in office. We don't want to spend more than we're taking in. And it's one of the reasons that we've been able to run surpluses, is we've been conservative with our revenue estimates. Not intentionally so, but just, as I should say, it's intentional that we're careful. But we've seen outsized revenue coming into the state that we didn't expect. So I'm glad to see that. As you know, we've year after year been responsible about what we're doing with those surpluses. We're not just spending them on new programs. We are socking it away, paying off debt, making sure that we've got, well, as you know, we're down to, I think, 15 days of days payable. So we're in accounts payable now and not overdue bills. We've reduced $8 billion to zero of overdue bills in the state. We've paid off all these short-term debts, and indeed, now we're starting to pay off long-term debts by increasing the amount of money we put into pensions. So that's what we have been doing with our surpluses. There'll obviously be some conversation with the General Assembly. We're already putting money into the rainy day fund. That's another thing that we could consider with these surpluses. We still have more that we can do with regard to pensions, as well as other payments that we can make to alleviate the burden on people across the state of Illinois. So, and then, I would like to see, as we feel comfortable with these new revenues coming in and their stability, and I think we're seeing a few years in a row now of the stability of that revenue, that we should be talking about whether there are tax cuts that we can implement. And I've had conversations across the aisle, Democrats and Republicans, about what we should do going forward in budgets if we see stability in these higher revenues.
Governor, your reaction to President Biden's executive orders on firearm sales yesterday, but also your confidence in the state Supreme Court in handling the gun challenge. What about the U.S. Supreme Court, especially post-Bruin? I know you said 8 other states have similar bans, but those 8 other states have gone to the Supreme Court post the New York decision.
Well, let's start with what the federal government is doing. Let me say we need to do so much more. There needs to be a federal ban on assault weapons. That's something that I advocated when I was with the president not that long ago, and have talked to him on periodic occasions about that. And I think he's trying to take the steps that he can take as chief executive to reduce gun violence across the country. With regard to the cases that are coming up in the federal courts, I'm not a constitutional law expert. I mean, as you know, I'm an attorney, but I think I took 2 courses in constitutional law during my 3 years as a student in law school, and so I wouldn't deign to offer a more expert opinion than I think the ones that you've heard. But I am confident that the federal courts and the Supreme Court can and should find that the assault weapons ban that we passed in the state of Illinois is constitutional. I think it follows the requirements of the cases that have been decided previously. So it seems like that should be the future of this, that it's found constitutional.
Governor, you signed
Cool.
on to a letter yesterday with other governors across the country, basically shaming pharmacies for not putting abortion drugs onto their shelves or taking them off in states that the procedures may still be legal. Is that all that state governments can do in this whole debate, or is there something that your office or the legislature can do to try to not require those drugs, but is there anything you can do besides, the political posturing on both sides?
Well, look, we've done everything in Illinois to allow the sale of those medications in Illinois, and at least Walgreens has said they intend to sell them in Illinois. And I expect that and CVS has applied also for certification to sell in Illinois, and I assume the others have too. So at least as far as protecting the people of Illinois, it seems like we're on a good trajectory. what the concern that's expressed in that letter is that there are a lot of states, including mainly states around us, where it won't be sold, and where those pharmacies aren't going to allow the sale because they're under threat by the attorneys general of those states. And what I've said, and what many of the signers of that letter have said, is that you shouldn't be cowed by a bunch of right-wing Republican attorneys general who are threatening you when it is legal or should be legal in those states to sell under federal law and under the interpretation of federal law by the Justice Department. So that's the message that we've sent. I think we're also saying all the pharmacies need to come clean and say what it is their intention is, because right now only one has come clean and said, this is what we intend to do. And, you know, I'm concerned about the decision, but I'm also concerned about what are the others doing, because I suspect that they all intend to do what one pharmacy has done. And I think that's not a good outcome, and I think they need to rethink that.
When I hear you, when I hear in this room that there are 40, that there are, Illinois is the third largest community college system. Given Illinois' proliferation of small governments, is that too many? Should there be consolidation? Are there economies that could be gained by consolidating some of the schools, districts? And can you help clean me up when I get tarred and feathered in this room?
You're on your own on that last point. Although there are state police here, so. Look, here's what I think. I think that community colleges are doing what's best for the communities that they represent and that they're providing programs for. They know who the local employers are that they're feeding into with the students that are coming through. They know what the students want when they come here, and so they're making good decisions at a local level. That's not to say that you can't, find some situation where perhaps consolidation might make sense, but I do not think it's the rule. It's really the exception. One of the great things about our community college system is that it's nimble. And so when you see there's an area of the state where there are more manufacturers of, let's say, metal products, there's an area of the state where there are more healthcare institutions. And so we need the community colleges to be addressing the concerns of the local community, the local employers, and the people who live in those communities. So I'm very proud of the fact that we have 48 community colleges. It's something really that we ought to be bragging about. I do. I talk to companies all the time who are thinking about Illinois, comparing Illinois to other states when they're deciding where they're going to put their next factory or move their headquarters. And one of the bragging points that we have is that we have this great community college education system available to them. Indeed, just in this area, Richland, I think was mentioned earlier by Senator Turner, Richland is providing a program for TCCI in Decatur because they are building new EV parts at TCCI. They're growing the number of jobs and they need to hire people. And so the Richland is actually providing a program specifically to hire people, to help that company, and it'll help bring other suppliers to the area as well. So I'm very proud of the proliferation of our community colleges and the fact that, as I heard from President Warren, enrollment is up this year. I heard somebody, I think Representative Stewart talked about, the challenge in our universities. I'll just go to that for a second, of enrollment over some number of years, 20 years really, we had a decline in enrollment. Well, guess what? This year, earlier in the year, we had the largest freshman classes entering our universities that we've seen in many years. And that's a function of us making college more affordable in the state of Illinois. And that's why our community colleges are going to thrive too, because if you can go to community college fee-free and tuition-free, you're a working class person, it's really going to help your entire family get ahead.
Let's do one more.
Dave.
You cannot be the only one in the room who has made a campaign contribution. So be it $1 million to a justice candidate or my $10 to a dog catcher candidate, what do we expect to get out of that contribution? What really do we expect for that investment?
Well, my hope is that good people get elected to public office. That's why I think you would contribute, or anybody else in this room would contribute to somebody. I would also point out that Unlike what some people are putting forward among the right wing, the truth of the matter is that my name is on these suits because I am an official representative of the state of Illinois. When I became governor, there were suits that were outstanding, and Rauner's name was removed from those suits, and my name was put on them. It had nothing to do with me specifically, just the fact that I happened to be governor at that time and this time. So the conflicts that have been alleged are just, false. And I'm must say that I think people who run for judge do it for the right reasons, and I think that people who give to candidates for judge do it for the right reasons. And judges ultimately are required to make their independent decisions about the cases. And I think that's what judges that any of us support should do, and I hope will do.
All right, thank you, everybody.
Thank you.